everyone, and welcome to season 2 and episode 2 of The Bottom Line. As always, I'm your co-host, Deepak, and I'm joined by Syed here, and we have another special episode ready for you all today, heading into 2022. So, not a particularly long episode, but we want to cover a couple of major topics and trends that really will trend into the new year. So, as always, we're going to kick things off with tech update from Syed. I'm going to go into a discussion about the inflation that we've seen so far and what general trends we might see heading into 2022. Syed's also going to give a quick crypto update, general trends that we've been seeing again. Market's been going sideways for the last little while. Key things to keep in mind there, we'll highlight some of those. And we're going to end off our episode with some stock picks. So with that being said, Syed, the floor is yours for the tech update.
Thank you, Deepak. Hey, everyone. We are back and here to provide you with great content again. So let's get started with the tech update. Again, for this month, it was more so the Log4j. I'm sure you know about that. I made a video about it a week ago, about like 10 days ago. So be sure to check that out if you don't know what that is or how it may impact you. But yeah, that video is available on YouTube as well. It's a YouTube short or on our TikTok and Instagram. So be sure to check that out. So Log4j really was a major thing in the tech and security world that everybody was dealing with. And it was a major vulnerability. In terms of other news, I did find a few things that were interesting, such as the Echelon Infostealer, which is basically it steals information, and it was dropped in via Telegram. And what it's basically doing is like it was malware that's stealing information on Telegram. And this Infostealer it was first discovered in 2018, and it aims to steal login credentials from popular file sharing platforms and messaging applications, including FileZilla, Discord, Outlook, Edge, OpenVPN, and Telegram. So I found this interesting, and again, I don't know if any of your viewers use Telegram, but if you do, be aware of this. And then one other thing I found interesting was Albania, and like their prime minister issued a data leak apology. Basically, what happened was that an Excel file containing what appeared to be data relating to employees in the public and private sectors was found circulating on social media and had reportedly been broadly shared through messaging apps. And PI, so personal information, allegedly exposed in the file included the monthly salaries, job titles, employer names, and ID numbers of approximately 637,138 individuals. So basically, Albania's Prime Minister Edi Rama apologized for the security incident. He said that it did not appear to be the result of a malicious action by an external threat actor. So yeah, those are the two things aside from the major thing that was Log4j. And again, check out the video that I made on that. And if you have any questions about Log4j, I can go over it again. But yeah, that wraps up the tech update for this week.
Well, thanks for that, Syed. We all really appreciate your tech updates. They keep us informed, keep us on our toes, and keep us current with what's going on in the marketplace, right? So definitely much appreciated there. So I'm going to shift focus really now towards inflation, and this is a topic that we covered ad nauseum really in our first season of The Bottom Line, and it was really a contentious topic amongst key policymakers, because clearly they were seeing all the ingredients there for high inflation, but they weren't really sure whether it's transitory or whether it's here to stay. I think towards the end of the year, really, Powell has really conceded that we should probably remove the label of it being transitory, and really come to grips with the fact that the inflation is here to stay. Really, what's up in the air now is whether we're going to continue to see this growth in inflation, or whether it's going to sort of start to tail off, right? And really, if you see year over year where our inflation numbers are, I think they started off at 3-4%, but really towards the tail end here, we're seeing 5-6% inflation year over year, which is just incredible, right? So we already saw them, like the effects of inflation in asset prices such as real estate. We're also seeing it a little bit in certain salaries as well, depending on different industries that you're a part of. And really just basic groceries as well. A lot of families have noticed, like you go to a grocery store, what you could get with $50, for example, late last year is not what you get today. right? So clearly, it's something that is here to stay, in my opinion. And really, again, the question is whether it's going to start tailing off and we're going to start to stabilize at these levels, or if it's going to continue going higher, which, in my opinion, would be more painful. But I did want to reference an article that's on investing.com, and Syed can provide the link to that article in the description to this video. But Deloitte actually recently modeled out 4 different scenarios for 2022 in the US, really depicting what unique opportunities or challenges that may present itself over the coming year, right? And keep in mind that Joe Biden's actually said that 2022 should actually be a very strong year for the US, right? So that's the expectation. But let me quickly go over what the 4 different scenarios are, okay? So there's really so there's 4 different economic outlooks. 2 of them are positive, 2 of them are negative, right? So they would have a negative impact on the US economy. So the first one, which is the positive one, is blue skies. Um, in this blue sky scenario, you'd be preparing for post-pandemic growth opportunities by going long on debt. So taking a lot of debt aggressively on to invest in foundational capabilities and growth-oriented M&A. Increase enterprise resiliency by diversifying supply chains. So what does that mean? Okay, so growth-oriented M&A, a lot of this happens through debt instruments, right? And what's our advantage right now, given our current economic landscape? It's the cheap cost of capital because interest rates have been low. So taking advantage of that, if the economy continues to get stronger with restrictions loosening up, supply chain shortages, which have been a problem in 2021, if those start to ease up, that'll strengthen the economy. So really, it's an opportunity for a lot of businesses to take advantage of the cheaper access to capital, and that'll drive growth. So sun showers is again a positive outlook, but a little bit more, nuanced there. So you would mitigate rising input costs and use performance improvement to invest in growth. You take advantage of inexpensive debt early on to disrupt weaker competitors or address current weaknesses to avoid disruption. So this acknowledges that again, the cost of capital is going to be cheap, but input costs may continue to rise, which would be, a problem for businesses, right? And that's something that they face in 2021: increased cost of goods or cost of sales, slowing down profitability, right? So that's one thing that they've factored into that sun shower scenario. The third one, and now this is more of a negative outlook, is stormy weather. So focus on increasing efficiency and lowering risk through economies of scale and cost-saving strategies, for example, automation, and diversifying business models and using financial hedges to mitigate the risk of rising inflation. Okay, so basically this is sort of starting to indicate that, inflation is here to stay. It's actually going to get a little bit worse potentially. So you want to hedge yourself against that. And really, for businesses to actually continue to be profitable, they have to focus on internal operational efficiencies. So that's not something that they emphasize in the first 2 scenarios, but now they're looking inward in this stormy weather scenario. And then the last one will be downdraft. So drive demand and emphasize value through new experiences and differentiated offerings. Rationalize suppliers and partnerships and consider restructuring to increase efficiency and savings. Again, this is the worst outcome, really, and they're driving home the point that if businesses are going to continue to survive in these sort of environments where input costs are rising, inflation's here to stay, cost of debt, for example, if there's a rise in interest rates, to try to mitigate that. So now that's going to increase the cost of borrowing. Is it enough to combat inflation? Probably not, right? So this is sort of that negative outlook, and really what they'd have to do here is to drive growth through value, right? So you'd have to differentiate yourself with your product or service in the marketplace and show consumers more value in order to stay profitable, right? So again, this is the more painful one, and businesses have to take more of a steadfast approach in that scenario. So 4 different scenarios, all equally likely, in my opinion. We could see them all play out really at different stages within 2022. But definitely something to keep an eye on, because obviously Deloitte's Deloitte, right? So they have a good pulse on what's going to happen in the future. Obviously, no one can predict it with certainty, but they have a fairly good idea, and I'd like to bet that at least one of these scenarios will play out for them.
All right, thank you, Deepak. That was really insightful. As yeah, inflation is always a concern every single year, and just like last year and the years before, in the coming year, 2022, it's going to be a major thing to look out for. So yeah, always great information there. We're gonna switch over now to the crypto market, and we're gonna talk about how the market's looking and um, what we're seeing in the market, and like a few articles that I found, a few things that you our viewers might want to know. So I'm gonna share my screen here, and we're, first we're gonna be just looking at the market. So I'm referring to cryptobubbles.net. We'll also be looking at coin market cap and also CoinGecko. So here I like crypto bubbles because it gives you a visual representation of like how the market's doing at the current, during the current time. So as you can see right here, near protocols up 8.8%. XMR, so Monero is up 9.4%, and then there's Rose that's up 28.5%, and Sushi Swap's up 40.4%, and then there's Cadena that's up 8.7%. Algo is up 18%, but the rest of the market is taking it kind of a hit, and just looking at it right here, Bitcoin is now at 47,000. Ethereum's hovering around that 4,000 mark, but now today it's down. It's down today, and I think it was like 3,700 earlier today. Now it's at right now it's at 3,706. You see Binance Coin, Tether. But let's go over to CoinMarketCap for a better overview of that. So as you can see right here, the top coin, so BTC, they have a more updated price right here. So just below 47,000 now. Ethereum fell below 3,700. You see BNB's down this week as well. Looking like a bear market here, to be honest. Ripple down 15.13% this week. Luna, after hitting its all-time high, down 10.51%. Avalanche is hovering between like the 105, 110 range and like 100 range, as it was yesterday. Shiba Inu again, still in the top 20, surprisingly, but the hopes of it reaching a penny or even like growing a little bit more is kind of fading away. But you never know, Matic, a project that I'm really fond of. It's been doing pretty good over the past 24 hours. And then there's the Crow token, which I will make a separate video on later on, and go in depth on this. But if you ask me, Crow is at a really good price to buy in right now. It's at a discount right now. Again, not financial advice. As we saw with the crypto bubbles, Algorand, and yeah. So let's quickly look at the categories on CoinGecko.com. So here we have the categories right here. So we're gonna go here and we're gonna look at the categories. So for smart contract platform, they're down on 1.3%. So in smart contracts, coins like Ethereum, Solana, ADA, they're down. Over the past day, and then over this week they're down almost 9%. The Polygon ecosystem's been doing really good this week, which I'm not surprised again. And again, in the Polygon ecosystem, we got two stable coins, Tether and USDC. We also got Binance, also got Polygon, and those projects right there. Same thing goes with the Binance Smart Chain ecosystem. Avalanche ecosystem's been doing good as well this past week. And then let's see, obviously stable coins really, they for those of you that don't know, they stay pegged to the US dollar, so can't really talk on that, like, because they're going to be equal to one USD, right? Exchange-based tokens, so that would include your BNBs of the world, your Crow, your Pancake Swap, your Sushi Swaps, and all those tokens. They are down 4.1%, and then there's DeFi that's down 6.3%, and so on and so forth. I like CoinGecko because it categorizes like the broader market into categories. So say for example you're into meme tokens, you can come right here and see which one, like how all the meme tokens are doing, right? It's kind of like a market, a semi market, like a market within a market, you know, like it narrows it down to what you're interested in. So if you're interested in meme tokens, you can just come here and see that, oh, meme tokens are down 9.4%. And then Polygon ecosystem, NFTs, and like the list goes on. I'm not going to go through all of these, but CoinGecko is definitely a great resource for you to check out if you want to like look at specific categories of crypto. And yeah, that's pretty much what's going on in the crypto world. By the looks of it, like I've been seeing Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin went above 50,000, I believe, like yesterday or 2 days ago, just a shade over 50,000, and then it dropped right back. Ethereum, same thing, it's hovering around 4,000 ish, and then dropping back to like the high 3,000s. So it's been pretty. They've been like around that range. In the new year, we'll see what happens. Looking forward to another a new year with crypto, and see if we can get another bull run, a last massive peak, you know. But yeah, that's how things are looking, and I do expect these prices to go down tomorrow as well, as I would see people selling before the end of the year. But let's look at some news for crypto, as this one I found pretty bullish, as SEC Commissioner Hester Peirce is expecting growth in NFT use cases in 2022. Again, talk about non-fungible tokens in another video coming soon. I'll talk about it in depth, so stay tuned for that. But essentially, this is great news for NFTs, as they kind of came to life in 2021, I would say, and 2022 is looking promising, especially when members of the SEC are saying these type of things, right? We see like companies like Adidas in the NFT space, and like a whole bunch of other professional athletes, etc. So stay tuned for the NFT exclusive. It'll come soon in the new year, and I'll go over in depth of what NFTs are. NFTs for beginners, basically, and it'll be a guide for you to refer to for those of you that want to get into the space. This one's for Ontario, for those of us that live in Ontario. So we talked about this back in June when the news came out that Binance is leaving Ontario. And December 3rd, we all had till December 31st to withdraw our funds, right? But now, I believe if you are a user with Binance, you should have gotten an email yesterday, and of course, if you're residing in Ontario, that they will continue operations as they reach a deal with the Canadian/Ontario government, right? But then today, this article came out, and basically it's the Ontario Security Commission's kind of denying the claim that Binance made. So basically, it's kind of mixed signals, you know, because Binance is a great exchange now. This article coming out today you might think that can I really leave my funds on there past December 31st if the Ontario Securities Commission is saying that no, Binance hasn't reached an agreement? So it's mixed signals out there. Binance, again, is a great exchange for all the low cap tokens that you might want to get into. But let's see what happens, and hopefully I'm hoping that Binance can stay in Ontario and, of course, in Canada as well. And then this last article I found interesting, just to wrap up like the calendar year 2021. Cryptocurrency, as we all know, it took off in 2021, seeing massive gains, right? In Bitcoin, Ethereum, all of the coins, Solana, Terra, Cardano, all of them. They took like a calendar year from now. If you invested a year ago into those coins, you would have seen massive gains, right? So with that being said, this article talks about like how cryptocurrency was the number one topic on Reddit in 2021, and Dogecoin was the top crypto subreddit. So I found that interesting, and let's see what happens in 2022. I do feel like there's more adoption of crypto, and as more people adopt crypto going forward, this is going to continue, in my opinion. Even if we do hit a bearish market, I feel like more and more people are still going to continue adopting crypto. For example, like, an example I could think of on the top of my head is like El Salvador purchasing Bitcoin, or like other crypto adoptions, around the world. So yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about during this week's episode about crypto. And if anything comes up regarding the market or any news, be sure to stay tuned to our TikTok or our other social medias for updates.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll just add very quickly there as well as people fear these bear markets a lot, thinking like that's the end of cryptocurrencies, this and that, over exaggerations. Part of it is emotions, right? But really, I think what's happened over the last year is because you've seen so much growth. The prices may have just run away a little bit from the fundamental value behind a lot of these great projects. So I think in any bear market, I think the fundamentals just take time to catch up to the price, right? So I think whether that happens in 2022 or 2023 or whenever it happens, eventually it will happen where the fundamentals need to catch up to the price. So whether that means a drop in price for a sustained period of time, I don't think anyone who's a long-term believer in cryptocurrency should really be afraid of that per se. Of course, if you're a trader, then that's a totally different discussion. But if you're truly investing in cryptocurrencies for the long run, you kind of appreciate these bear markets and short-term, price fluctuations, even to the downward side, because it gives you an opportunity to sort of step back and be like, okay, like are the developers still taking the time to make sure the fundamentals are catching up to the price growth, right? And it also gives you a chance to accumulate more if you were bullish on a project, but you found like it ran up like at the height of it, we would see projects like double or triple over a matter of a couple weeks, right? So for a lot of investors, some of the prices started to run away. So it's really an opportunity for the prices to pull back, cool off, and those investors can step back in and see, okay, this is a fair price now. Maybe it's a good time to go in to a
Yeah.
project that they had long term belief in, anyways, right? So yeah, just wanted to share that thought as well.
Yeah, bear markets is where you accumulate the most wealth, right? Because that's when you obviously like stack up on like a project that you're bullish on, like you said, and then you wait for the bull market, and then that's where you make the most gains. And that also like ties in with FOMOing into a project, right? You never want to buy at the all-time peak, right? You want to always buy when like it's at a low price, right? And then you always want to buy there. And of course, we're guilty of FOMOing, and like I'm sure our viewers might be guilty of FOMOing, but it's something that you want to avoid in these situations, right? Especially with projects at their all-time high. So yeah, we'll talk more about FOMOing and all that in another episode for sure. But we'll just leave it at that for now with crypto. Right, now we're gonna move on to our stock picks for this coming trading week. So for myself, it's Microsoft. Now Microsoft did really good this year, as you can see on your screen. It's 1 year chart. Year to date, it started at $222 per share, and now looking at today, so Thursday, December 30th, 2021, it's sitting at 339. That is almost you would be up more than $100 per share. That is a really that is a really good gain over 1 year. So if you're into the stock market as a holder, like for growth stocks, I think Microsoft is a great play because of course, like it's Microsoft, right? One thing though that makes them really bullish, in my opinion, is just like Google and Amazon, right? They Microsoft have their cloud service called Azure, and Azure is doing big things. They did big things in 2021, and they're going to continue doing big things in 2022. So just for that sole reason, one of the major catalysts, I think Microsoft is a no doubter to have in your portfolio. Once again, not financial advice. And just to add on to that, like also stocks like I mentioned, such as Google and Amazon as well, just for the cloud aspect of it. So Amazon has AWS, Google has their own cloud service, and cloud is the future, right? So that's why I think that's why I brought Microsoft up, and then also gave shout outs to Amazon and Google as well. Now, Deepak, I'm going to swing it over to you for your pick.
Yeah, perfect. So my pick is again one that's gotten a lot of attention and not for a good reason, and that's Peloton. So Peloton was one of those COVID darlings. So when COVID first started, it did very well, right? And really, it rose from out of nowhere. Over the past year, however, it's down over 75%, right? So clearly, it's taken quite a bit of a hit. But if we zoom out, side, you can see in the past 5 years, even after all of the beating it's taken, it's still up. From the start of 2020, it's still up over 20%, right? So that's still not bad gains, right? And over the past 5 years, it's still returned over 50% for investors, right? But the reason why I bring up Peloton is actually, I think it's, and again, this is just my opinion here, I think it's actually primed for someone to come in and really buy them out. And I was really looking at a company like Apple that really has been known historically to sort of dive in and sort of swoop up these sort of companies that have been experiencing some turbulence but are in promising fields. And I think acquiring a business like a Peloton would put Apple on the map in the fitness side as well. With a rebranding, changing everything from Peloton to Apple, I think there would be a lot more comfort from consumers as well behind that Apple brand. And I think a lot of the problems that Peloton's faced right now is because of that branding, and a lot of their equipment, through different tests or trials, haven't really been proven safe, and there's been a few issues as well with consumers that have gotten injured with some of the products. But I think a lot of those concerns would vanish under the Apple umbrella, and Apple, with its own testing, can make sure that the products are safe as well. And so, this is one thing to watch out for. If this company does get bought out, it might be at a higher valuation than what the stock's currently trading at. And previous bios, for any example, that usually ends up in a nice payday for existing investors. So definitely keep this on your watch list for sure. But like I had said, not financial advice, and that's really purely speculation, right? I have no idea what Apple's going to do. No one really does. But just again, have these sort of things in the back of your mind that if there's a company out there, somewhat promising, but has varying degrees of complexity in terms of expanding into markets, whether it's primed for a potential buyout, right? So yeah, that's my pick.
The episode that marks the end of the episode for season 2, episode 2. Once again, anything that we told you guys in terms of crypto and stock is not financial advice. Just thought I'd remind you all. Once again, we have reached a year of podcasting and running our platform. So we want to thank each and every one of you for all the support you guys show us on YouTube and on social media as well. And we look forward to doing big things in 2022 as well. Of course, giving back to our viewers in the community, providing you guys with great content, educational content that is. And as always, if there's anything you guys want us to cover in particular, you guys want to learn about something, feel free to reach out to us on our social medias, and we'll provide that content for you for sure. And looking forward to a great new year, a great 2022. And from Deepak and myself, would like to wish you all a very happy new year. And stay safe out there, and we'll talk to you guys in episode number 3. Thanks all.